going to make basil diced tomatoes.
This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead.
Now, the books that this recipe is in, I say books because it's actually in 2 books. Diane Devereaux's The Canning Diva. She's on Facebook, and I don't think she posts on here. However, she put this recipe in both the Beginner's Guide to Canning and in the Complete Guide to Pressure Canning. Both books are amazing. Both books have the same recipes in them, but also different recipes. So do I recommend buying both? Yes. If you're only buying one and you want the pressure canning stuff, get this one. If you're buying one and you want all kinds of things like to play around, like if you're a beginner canner, definitely buy this one. There you go. Let's get it. My husband's For You app on Safeway had tomatoes for an amazing deal. I'm like looking at it going, what? So here's a trick. I went to the produce manager, the produce guy, and I asked him, I said, my husband has like 90 cents a pound for Roma tomatoes, which is unheard of in our area. I said, if I wanted to buy a case, could I? And he said, yes, you could. If I had a case, I would sell it to you. He did, but I'm also getting ready to go on a trip with my mother, so I could not get a case. I was very, very sad. So those are the tomatoes that we're going to be working with because you know I had to buy some. I had to have him buy some. And this is what we're going to be doing. Basil diced tomatoes. Oh, sounds amazing, especially in the dead of winter. And no, I'm not peeling my tomato. Listen to her description. This recipe is different from my stewed tomatoes on page 46, as its flavor is a bit lighter and not as heavy on the peppers. It works very well with recipes requiring standard diced tomatoes. A jar of basil diced tomatoes is the perfect addition to soups and stews, or just open a jar and add them to chicken thighs for an easy braised or baked meal. For utmost simplicity, heat up a jar and toss with angel hair pasta. What could be better than that? The recipe is also available on her website, and I have added her link in my bio. So go ahead and grab it there. So we're going to talk about everything. Right now we're on our way to get some basil. Great way to use the basil before a frost comes. Good morning, babies. Where'd my, oh, there we go. I'm looking for basil. Oh, hi there, Basil. We're just gonna snip some from you. Now I get to wash and add it to our pot and start the whole recipe. Time is up, waiting for the pressure to come down. We only had to pressure can it for 15 minutes. Oh, it's almost out and it looks so good. It's been a long day, but they are done. They're out of the canner. They're cooling, and then I will check them tomorrow. And so far, they look amazing. That whole recipe was very easy. Dump and go. And now you know what I know. Welcome back to another price comparison where we're going to talk about basil diced tomatoes that I just canned up. Have a look right over there. We're going to wash them and we're going to talk. First, we take the seals off and we check each one to make sure that they have sealed. Oh, one hasn't. That's why you do it. See? So this one we use first, which is really going to bite because I'm leaving. Into the freezer it goes. Warm up the water. Lucky for me, I only had one that didn't seal. In the beef that I did 2 days ago, I had 2 that didn't seal of the Tattler lids. So I used the Tattlers. There's a slightly higher fail rate. However, they are reusable. And the more I use them, the more I get used to them. I hadn't used them. I was solely using them about 8-9 years ago, and then I just stopped. And now I think I want to start doing it again. Let's talk about other things. So after we check for sealage, we wash them with soap and water all around the outsides because we want to get rid of all the gunk. So let me tell you why I bought these tomatoes. I have been buying produce and canning with it because I'm trying to show you guys that it literally is profitable to can with purchased. You don't have to have a garden to can. Like, I'm looking for sales and I choose the sales that are appropriate and I pick the items, the sale items that are cheap, and I find recipes for canning them. So this is why this is a little bit more expensive than most people would have that grew all of their own produce. Like, it would be free if I grew all my own produce. For this one, the only thing I grew was the basil. This is basil diced tomatoes. It's absolutely amazing. It has onions, bell peppers. I shared her recipe for free in my bio. So you can go ahead and grab that there. She also talks about it on her podcast. She's amazing. And the whole entire batch cost me $12.31, and $6.51 of that was tomatoes, 7 pounds of tomatoes, plus a few from my garden. However, a pint of this store-bought is $1.29 for S&W for 14.2 ounces. And if I divide that and times it by 16, which this is 16 ounces, don't you love the green jar? That makes it $1.44 for one of these jars. This is a pint. Now I take the $1.44 and I times it by 11, which is basically what I have, 11 pints. That gives me a 32-cent savings, which gives me a $3.53 savings per batch. Even though you don't have a garden, you can still can reasonably cheap. There you go. Now you know what I know. Always can your leftovers in smaller jars. Then you have like perfect little bruschetta right there. Like, make some bread. Yeah.